Hello and welcome back to the Growth Mindset Collective once again with myself and Niki Hall. Welcome, Niki. How are you today?
Hi, I'm great, Ava. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much. Aside from all the mosquitoes we're having, but hey, I guess it comes with the summer.
Yeah, I heard they were in excess this year.
Oh yes, a lot, and in the rain too. But hey, I love the summer days regardless. So, today we're going to be talking about the power of mentorship. Every successful person has a coach. So, welcome everyone to another session here with us today. And today we're exploring a topic that has shaped the lives of countless successful people throughout history, the power of having a coach or a mentor. So, when we admire someone who has achieved extraordinary success, we often see the results but rarely the guidance behind it. Behind nearly every great athlete, entrepreneur, leader, artist, whatever, the innovator is someone who challenges them, encouraged them, and expanded their thinking and helped them see possibilities they couldn't yet see for themselves. So, growth is not about having all the answers, it's about being willing to learn, to remain teachable, and to recognize that the right guidance at the right time can change the direction of your life. So a coach or mentor doesn't walk the path for you. They simply shine a light on the path so you can walk it with greater confidence, clarity, and purpose. But here I give it over to Nikki because I know she has wonderful stuff for us. So Nikki, the floor is yours.
Hello. I always say this, but this is such an exciting topic for me is mentorship. And I always have so much to say. I had to work on it almost all morning and bring it down, bring it down, bring it down, and see what points are best to influence you. So I put it in a little script, and hopefully, this I'm not going to guarantee this, but I won't deviate. But I Ava can I can count how many times I actually deviate from the script because she knows me. So today we're talking about the reality of high level performance and one common denominator among those who sustain it over decades. So if you look at someone like Oprah Winfrey, she's had mentors throughout her entire career and through every stage of her success. There are many people of success, like Ava has mentioned, in all venues of life, of work, of success, of achievement, of business and growth, where they all have strong beliefs on the importance of mentorship. Um, you might have heard Oprah Winfrey say, a mentor is someone who allows you to see the hope inside yourself. She always had such nice things to say, didn't she?
Definitely, yes. And it's funny because I also had quotes from Oprah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, okay, what are your quotes? Do you have them there?
Um, a mentor is someone who allows you to see the hope inside yourself.
Yep.
That's the same one, pretty much. Yeah. So, yeah, I
Yes.
followed Oprah quite often on her content as well. So,
Yes. Well, she's a very smart woman and she's a billionaire and she keeps sustaining her growth. We've seen her make mistakes. And that's nothing to do with the mentor. That's us with our own personal growth. And the growth and the way she handled it and the way she moved beyond the mistake and up and forward has to do with her consulting a mentor and her believing in that too, right?
mhm.
Um, the essence of why great minds in business, the people who build and hold empires, the people who are in high standing positions that you respect, and why they look at this is the view of mentorship is not a luxury, but it's honestly to them it's a non-negotiable priority. You agree, Ava?
Of course.
If we go back to, I like to, in my studies, in my classes, I like to give you the lesson, and then I like to go to the past where wisdom, the wisdom, if the wisdom holds the state of time, then it's solid. So I want to take you back to Andrew Carnegie. Um, but also, I want you to realize that business leaders still use his work primarily how to influence friends, no, how to win friends and influence people. Is that right, Ava?
That's correct.
That that Andrew Carnegie book, they still use it among their proteges when they're bringing more people up and they're trying to train them into a certain manner of leadership. They still use Andrew Carnegie's work. So he's got to be at least, he is he 100 years? Does he go back 100 years, you think?
Sure. I'm not sure.
Yeah, let's say sure. Let's do it.
That's a safe
So
answer.
yeah. So think of a leader like Andrew Carnegie, and he was one of the most successful industrialists in history. He understood that mentorship wasn't just about gathering information, it was about the transmission of a state of being. He took the position of mentor. He's talking from the mentor position here because he knew that as a move into a new business level, people often realize that they have limited perspectives or feel they're limited. Um, and they aren't aware that the full board, they aren't aware of looking at the full board, like let's say a chess board or whatever kind of board game you're looking at. There's a piece there that they feel that they're not aware of, and it really encumbers them. And they can't see the winning move because of that, and they allow it to impede their growth, right? So, right? I mean, we've all done it and we still do it. It's a human nature thing, but when it comes down to business, we want to get out of that practice. So the mentors are here. And Andrew Carnegie believed that mentorship is essential for everyone because it is the path to clarity. And that's another thing we teach, clarity. It's so important, right? When you align yourself with the mentor, you stop operating from your own limited source of understanding and start opening up to broader ways of doing business, seeing things, and you start relaxing yourself in certain other ways. You aren't just learning a new set of skills when you bring on a mentor into your life. You're adopting a standard of personalized reflection that allows you such clarity in your position that the world recognizes your authority, trust, and guidance. And that is when they choose you in business. That is the key. They're not looking for a source of information. They're looking for somebody that has confidence in their authority. They trust in their knowledge and guidance, and their choices are clear. Their direction is clear. They walk in the room and their aura of confidence goes before them, or their presentation anywhere is solid enough to go before them in a room. So I want to talk about this next part, Ava. And that's when, think about one of the times or couple of times when you experienced being with a mentor and the issue is so big, and some of us carry, I'm going to use the word shame because that's the first word that comes to mind. Some of us use shame, or we feel ignorant or whatever, and that is our stopping. That is the one element of emotion that'll stop us or make us feel like what we don't know is so big and so momentous, and we have to be so brave and strong to tell our mentors, well, I want to do this, and we think it's outrageous, and our mentor's sitting across from us going, well, and they give us a one sentence and it's like, oh, and they clear all the path. They clear all that distance we thought we had to travel. They just blow up that emotion that's impeding us from doing anything.
Definitely, because we all have those blind spots, right? Like how I can describe it is how I've seen it for maybe XYZ amount of time. And then when somebody else comes in, you say it's like, oh my God, like this is it. And you're like, why did I see that? That's because you need to
Exactly.
get to in those conversations. You know, one of the biggest reasons people stay stuck isn't because they like you said, intelligence or ability or anything like that. It's because of the blind spots. We cannot always see our own limiting beliefs, habits, fears, patterns. Like when I talk to people, like just listening sometimes is like, okay, I know exactly where she's at or he is at. Or I'm like, okay, this is what you need to do. And they're like, oh, out of all that, that's what you caught? I was like, yes, because that's what's your blind spot is. That's exactly where it's like, oh, I've never really seen it that way. You know, that's
Hmm.
why I love when Bob Proctor used to do that exercise. He's like, write a problem on a piece of paper, put it on the table, and then go around it and then see it from a different point of view. Same as Dr. Wayne Dyer, all his famous quotes. So, and that's why I
Yeah,
love the timeless wisdom because it's not just for that specific generation. It's like you can use certain things forever. And that's
yes,
one of my things I actually design is it's called a timeless method is where I take the timeless knowledge. It's not it's something that will ever expire because it's timeless. You can use it over and over again in any generation. Yes, of course, new things come up and new ideas will always be there, but there's things that will never change, you know, like having that clarity, decision making, and all that that you're talking about, right? So
yes,
mentor
yes,
doesn't
absolutely.
necessarily, yeah, a mentor doesn't necessarily tell you what to do. They just help you see what you have been unable to maybe see all this time because, sometimes our judgments are a little bit blurry. Maybe we're overthinking something, whatever
Yeah,
the idea, right?
yeah, yeah. Well, not only that, but um, I got to know Bob Proctor a little bit, and he was standing there. Actually, he was sitting across a dinner table with me, and there was just six of us there. So, you're on. Whether you like it or not, you're on with Bob Proctor. And he comes out and he asks that question. And I'm sure anybody who studied with him has experienced this through his work. And he says, what do you want? What do you want? What do you really want? And like he asks it with, and his posture is so clear. And he is so accomplished when he's asking you that question that you're thinking, I have to tell him, like you have to tell what you really want.
Yeah,
Right? And
yeah,
and you realize you're there to learn from him, but you realize, yeah, you really don't want to say it.
yeah,
Because you don't want to get shot down, or you don't want to be humiliated, or you don't want to be told that's impossible for you, or whatever your head is saying. And so I blurted out, and he pauses and he fixes himself up, and and you could see there's nothing like that in his mind. He's just going, okay, well, and you could tell for her going at this, she'd probably have to go blah blah blah. So he says, okay, well, did you do this or this or this, or what about this? And it's like, no. Right?
yeah.
And he just cleared the whole field. All this growth that I thought was going to take me years to achieve or get over, like slowly and systematically, or maybe it was going to be a life discipline or something. He blew it up in, like, before he even before he even broke his bun up and buttered it. Uh, it's like it's over. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah,
That's serious savings in your life when it comes to being a successful business person. You need that kind of move forward, or you need that kind of trust and belief in someone else who's achieved it, so you don't have to do it.
definitely. Yeah, so many golden lessons from Bob's teachings, and of course many others. We could be here all day talking about them because a lot of the leaders like Oprah, Tony Robbins, Bob Proctor, and on and on, they have a lot of golden nuggets to share, and it's worth listening and actually doing the
Yes.
work because the best investment is actually in ourselves, right? Many people
Yes.
hesitate to invest in themselves They maybe think nothing of spending money on temporary, pleasures, but knowledge does appreciate, skills appreciate, confidence, appreciates. Personal growth pays dividends for the rest of your life. And as long as, we keep, because sometimes we do slip back. And that's why mentorship, having accountability partners is so important when you're trying to achieve something. And sometimes we have those habits that unfortunately hard to break, and this is
Yes.
why it's so important. And that's why we love this topic today, because, I knew when I wanted to change my life, I needed that extra kick in the butt, let's put it that way. And I don't think I would have done it myself. And if I did, it probably would have taken a lot longer. And that's why I like
Hmm.
what you said when Bob says, he just, before he bought a bunny, you already had your answers pretty much, right? So,
Yeah.
I think it speeds up the process, most definitely. It gets you back on the right track, or it opens up so many new doors. Like I've met you, I've met other people, I have mentors. I have, I think, 4 or 5 different mentors, because there are 4 different things, because not everybody specializes, well, can specialize in everything. But I have a mentor for health, I have a mentor for something else, and coaching, because mentors also need mentors, right? So it's beautiful when you start stepping into this and see all the possibility all of a sudden, whereas before in your brain might be, oh, it'll take 10 years, it'll take 5 years. Baloney, it doesn't have to take that long.
No. Yeah, you really got to get out of that mindset.
Yeah.
And if you don't want to go with the mentors of this industry, you can, in today's world, look at Ray Dalio, the one that built one of the most powerful trading firms in history, or Richard Bronson, and they will both. Like, there's a story about Richard Bronson sitting at the back of somebody, a mentor's class, and he's copiously taking notes. And they're like, Mr. Sir Bronson, what are you doing here? And he's like, I'm learning. So they're big advocates for mentorship for very good reasons. Honestly, you really, if you're looking to grow and you're looking to do a business and you're looking to get to a certain destination, you really shouldn't do it alone.
Mm-hmm.
It's way too hard, honestly, and it's way too time consuming, and it's just too much effort. Um, honestly, take up, think about what you want, where you're going, and pick a mentor and make life easier for yourself.
Yeah. So a question for you and actually the audience. What has investing in yourself taught you, perhaps?
Taught me, as in,
Mm-hmm.
what's my biggest lesson?
Sure.
Or Well, the biggest lesson that I learned, I think, was I'm not going to mention who this person is. He's a successful businessman, and I was very intimidated sitting in front of him. Now, you have to remember that I was married to a professional musician, so I was exposed to some exceptional people at some points. And he granted me time to sit with him. And I had a question that was really bothering me and was really part of my character and was really, I thought, going to be a hard thing to integrate into my business and to live with and to manage and so on and so forth. So I sat down with him and he saw how difficult it was for me. And it took me at least 3 or 4 minutes to get to that place. And he patiently sat and waited. And I said, well, what about? And I said my issue, or the thing that I wanted to have to, this boulder in my life. And he said, oh, in business, we don't really even recognize that. So don't worry about it.
Mm-hmm.
So the whole thing where I was moving into self help, into, business help, I was carrying some of that over. And he said, yeah, don't even. So he just blew up at least a third of all the weight in effort that I was taking. And he just put it in a perspective and he said, yeah, pee, pee, pee.
Yeah. Wow, it's amazing. It's amazing what we learn. For me, I think it was that I am valuable, that
Ah,
before, I would have maybe it's like, who am I to do something more about my life, because I used to look down on myself. Then I realized I am valuable and I am worth it to invest in myself. So that was my biggest lesson, because that was a lot of money I spent on mentors and, of course, continuing. And it was even before mentors. I took a lot of different, studies and things like that. But when I invested in a mentor, I was like, yeah, I am worth it. I can push myself for a lot more in life than I was doing, and I wanted to do more. And every day I reflect, and it's like, sometimes we think like down here, but there's times where like over the moon. It's like, why not just keep going, keep going? Life doesn't
yes,
have to stop just because bills pile up or this or that. Like sometimes we forget. So it's good to have
yes,
mentors. It's good to have people in your life that definitely push you forward to succeed, to do more. Because after all, like I look now, it's like, wow, another 10 years went by. It's like, you don't want
yes,
to sit there in like 20 years and be like, oh, I wish I did that. You want to,
exactly.
collapse the
Yeah.
time and do so much more, right?
Exactly. Warren Buffett can validate what you're saying because he famously said that his success was due to the influence of his mentors. Primarily, he mentioned Benjamin Graham, who taught him how to think rather than just what to think.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the huge, huge difference. Like that changes your life.
Definitely. So here's some questions I want you guys to ponder on. Maybe take a pen, write it down, review this video, save it, subscribe. Don't forget about us. So
Yes.
so question one, who has had the greatest positive influence on your life? What
Hmm.
lesson from a mentor still guides you today if you had a mentor, or not even a mentor, somebody who you look up to? Where are you trying to figure out everything out by yourself? Sometimes we beat ourselves over the head trying to figure out a thing where we could just talk to a mentor. What limiting belief keeps you from asking for help? If you
Mm.
had someone walking beside you, what goal might you finally pursue? What gifts or experiences could you one day share with someone else? So are you a committed So, sorry, are you as committed to your personal growth as you are to your daily responsibilities? So, those are some questions. We do have more, of course. If you would like to sit down with us, we do offer what you call that discovery call, and you can just reach out, book a mastermind session, and we can go from there.
Yeah.
Anything else you'd like to add, Nikki, before we wrap up for today, this wonderful session?
Okay, so I have a question for you.
For me?
Of, yep. Of those questions that you mentioned, which one hit you the most when you were putting them together?
The one that really sticks out, I think, would be if you had someone walking beside you, what goal might you finally pursue? I don't know why that one really sticks out because I think it helps me to go far and beyond. Because I've done a lot of great things in my life too, just like you have. But I just feel like it'll never stop. I just want to do more. Like I feel like my heart's expanding. I want to do more. So that's why I think this question stands out so much because I'm willing to do a lot more than I have been so far. And I've done a lot of things from traveling the world to skydiving to snorkeling to whatever. Maybe the moon is next. Who knows?
Yes, you're a very brave soul.
Thank you. So that's the question that sticks out the most for me.
That's interesting. Thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome. So, what about you guys? Did you actually take time to answer these? If not, sit down, answer some of these questions. So, anything else you'd like to add, Nikki?
Yeah, I'm going to add to journal. If one of the questions stuck out even more than any other one, that might be the one that could move the mountain for you. So maybe you could pick that apart. Maybe you could take ownership of that question and journal or write it out, because writing changes part of your method of being and thinking. And that might be helpful. Those are excellent questions that were asked, and either journal them all or journal one and dig deep.
Exactly. And ask why, keep asking why, and answers will come. And if you have a hard time, you know where we are. So as
Call
we
us.
close, as we close today, I'd like to leave you with one thought, or maybe a few. None of us are meant to walk this journey alone. Growth has always happened through relationships, through conversations, through guidance, through learning from those who have gone before us. So there's great wisdom in asking for help, not because you are incapable, but because you are committed to becoming the very best version of yourself. The people who continue to grow aren't necessarily the most talented sometimes, they're the most teachable. So as you leave today, ask yourself, who is helping you become the person I want to be? And equally important, whose life could I positively influence simply by sharing what I have learned? Because it's not just you learning from somebody. Now you can pass it on to somebody else, children, family, other people around the world. So it's all an expansion, right? So thank you so much for watching today. Thank you, Niki, for being here as always. And we'll see
My
you
pleasure.
guys in a couple of weeks. And yeah, would love to hear your comments and see if you answer any of your questions. You can DM us or share some comments in this video as well. Thank you guys. Have a wonderful day. See you next time. Bye bye.